Hello, and welcome back to the DayLuna Human Design Podcast with your host, Dana and Shayna. This is an episode all about three-line energy, baby, because three-line energy is something that Shayna and I are constantly working with and really noticing in the world. Three-line energy is so important out of all of the 6 lines. The three-line is so responsible for change and evolution and mutation and a lot of new discoveries in the world, but it can also be a challenging energy. So we want to talk about why three-line matters a lot, whether you have a 3 in your profile or a 6 in your profile or you don't. It's still a really important energy for all of us to understand and to really start embracing and being aware of and deconditioning around. I feel like there is so much conditioning out of all 6 of the lines in human design. Three-line perhaps has like maybe the most deconditioning to do in general.
Yeah. And when you have resistance around the three-line energy in your life, you create a lot of resistance in your life because we're ultimately here to discover and to adventure and learn from each other. And if we're fighting against that, then we create a lot of friction in our day-to-day lives. So you might be thinking, I don't have a 3 in my profile, so this doesn't apply to me, or I don't have a 6 in my profile, so this doesn't apply to me. But there are other areas in your life where you might have a lot of three-line energy influencing your life. So we want to invite you to look, first of all, at your profile. Do you have a 3 there? Do you have a 6 there? If you have a 6, that means that when you're under 30, it's operating as a 3-line. So this definitely applies to you. And you can reflect back on that era of your life as well to see if you really resonate with this 3-line energy we're going to get into. But also look at some of your other big placements. So when you're looking at your human design chart, the columns on the right and the left where it shows the planets and it has all these numbers and then it has a decimal point and a number after that. All of those gate placements are going to have a number between 1 and 6. And if you have a 0.3 at any of those bigger planets, so like, let's say your sun gates, your earth gates, your moon gates, I would even say your Mars gates or your Jupiter gates, Pluto gates,
Your North Node.
Your North Node. I mean, honestly, we could say all the gates if we wanted to say a blanket statement, but I would look at some of those bigger placements that we just listed off. If you have a 0.3, that means that you have some prominent 3-line energy that you're working with and navigating in certain areas of your life all the time. And also, if you don't have any 3-line placements, let's say, I mean, which is highly unlikely, but if you don't, you can also experience 3-line energy when we are in a 3-line day and when the sun is transiting through a 3-line. So that means that we're all collectively experiencing 3-line energy and we're working with that energy whether we realize it or not in that day. So understanding 3-line energy, working with it, embracing it, like Dana said, can be a game changer to make your life feel more expansive and adventurous and diverse. And like discoveries are happening with you versus like discoveries are thrust upon you and like you're going to learn the hard way. You're going to learn either way. You can either learn the way where you're diving into it, or you can learn the way where you are thrown off the cliff and maybe you hit a few rocks along the way down. So everybody laughs at 3-line energy because it is funny. Like I've heard so many people be like, that 3-line in my life, like shit, I really feel the trial and error. I really feel the gotta fuck some shit up first and then I'll see what works. And it can be definitely on one side that, and there is some camaraderie in that, which I love. But it's also the expansive, like nobody else would have figured this out if you didn't do that. And it's amazing. So we love 3-lines. We think 3-lines, and we're all navigating and dealing with 3-line energy, whether we realize it or not.
Yeah. And just for anyone who's listening, that's like, what is a line? If you're more new to human design, we have the 12 zodiac signs on the human design wheel when you're looking at that rave mandala. And out of those 12 zodiac signs, then it's divided even further into the 64 gates of human design that are then, around that wheel within the 12 zodiacs, but they're also reflected into your body graph, the 64 gates. And each of those 64 gates is made up of a hexagram that has 6 lines. So the lines are like the smallest, most specific increment within human design in our body graph that you can look at. So maybe you have, let's say, gate 20 as your sun gate, and then it's expressed through the third line of that hexagram. It's like a smaller increment there. So I just wanted to kind of explain the mechanics of what a line is. And out of those 6 lines, the first line is the investigator, the second line is the hermit. The third line in traditional human design has the keynote of being called the martyr, which I feel like is like a scary kind of triggering word, but I wanted to address it. Why is the 3 line called the martyr? And, this keynote is really referring to a 3 lines ability to stand up and say, this thing doesn't work and it's not right. And then take the heat for that. That's where the 3 line gets its name. And I really like to say instead the word advocate. If you have this 3 energy in your chart in a prominent place, like let's say you're a 3-5 profile, you are here to advocate. When you see something that is not fair, that is not right, that is unjust, you are the person who's not just here to just sit back and allow it to happen. With 3 line energy, you're here to stand up and say, that's not cool. And you're not afraid to be the voice that calls that out. And then for other people to look back at you and give you that heat. So I really like to share that because I feel like there's this pride that should come from being someone who's willing to stand up. And that's medicine for everyone, whether you have a 3 in your profile or not. We all know that experience of like, are we all just going to sit here and let that pass without saying something? And when someone does stand up and say something, they do take that heat. And it is kind of scary and it is kind of courageous, but that's how change happens. So when it's a 3rd line day, and the sun's transiting through, let's say, gate 20, it goes through gate 1 of gate 20, it goes through line 2 of gate 20, it goes through line 3 of gate 20. So on that day, it happens approximately once a week that the sun is in a 3rd line expression of that gate. There's going to be that energy of like, what isn't working? And are we brave enough to stand up and say it and not be afraid to take that heat? And by the way, if you're wanting to learn more about human design transits and the line days, we highly recommend checking out our membership, which is called Your Human Design Besties. And in that, we talk a lot about the transits and the line days. We do a transit calendar and you get weekly update emails of what the sun is, what gate it's moving through, and the line days and how to utilize the line days, which has been a game changer for Shayna and I. Like we literally plan all of our events or our gatherings around the line days. It feels so nourishing and so supportive to do that. So if you're curious about this, I recommend checking that out. And you can sign up for that membership for a month and then get access to all of the content that we have. We have an incredible library full of a lot of different, really deep human design mini courses. It's a great place to go if you want to learn more about human design, but you're not ready to commit to a reader training. And then we also have a meditation library with tappings and guided meditations. We have monthly gatherings where we talk about these transit energies, where we talk about sharing that experience of really navigating these things. So definitely check that out if you're more interested. But in general, when we are in this 3 line energy with the sun transiting, embracing that martyr energy and not being afraid of it, but also not ever letting the energy that the sun is in pull you away from your strategy and authority. I feel like that's a big theme in our life, embracing the energy that's there, but not getting distracted in it. And we like to call the 3 line energy, instead of the martyr, we like to call it the explorer and discoverer. It's kind of like a nicer energy, and also an advocate is maybe a nicer energy than the martyr word. Although I would definitely say that any of these keynotes, they're meant to be shocking. They're meant to grab your attention and pull you in and perhaps trigger you if that's what needs to happen so that you can explore these things. But embracing the feeling of exploring the unknown and discovering the unknown is something that is crucial for everyone. And I feel like we have so much resistance in general around exploring the uncertainty and finding things that don't work and growing. So many of us are doing everything in our power to not follow our strategy and authority, to not change and, try new things or go into the unknown because it's scary, it's uncomfortable. And for a lot of us, our nervous system is just programmed and wired to keep us safe, to keep us playing small. And 3 line energy, whether that's a person in your life that has a 3 profile or when the sun is transiting through that third line energy, is asking us to get brave, to get bold, and to be open to discovering. And that includes moving into the unknown or discovering things that don't work and then being okay with being brave and bold enough to say that thing and to address it.
Yes. And so if you have a 3 in your profile or a 6, or if you have a lot of 3-line placements, or if you're just navigating life with the 3-line energies and wanting to really work with the energies around you, we have some things to remember. So the first is prioritize space for exploration. So trying new things with an open heart and open mind. This is huge. So if you have a 3 in your profile, it's so important to, when you're feeling the bumps, to check in with yourself and say, oh, I'm exploring today. I'm bumping into life today. I am going to make some discoveries today. And for me, I don't have a 3 in my profile and I don't have too many 3 placements. I do have, though, a few. And when it is a 3-line day, I will literally, without even checking the transits, be feeling like, oh, things are feeling a little bumpy today. And I'll ask, like, is it a 3-line day? Let me look. It is pretty much 99% of the time. And then I have to do a quick reframe to say, okay, so I'm going to make some discoveries today. I'm open to that. I'm excited for that. I'm ready to learn today and see what works and what doesn't. And just that quick reframe with my awareness alone shifts me energetically to be in flow with the energies around me versus trying to fight it and feeling like things are hard. And now I have this story and there's all this friction in my energetic body. Just having that reframe is so important. So if this is a prominent energy in your life, using that reframe a lot of the time and having that spaciousness and knowing of, okay, I'm here to explore and I'm here to try new things, and that openness to learn and to have those discoveries is huge. And it comes from your awareness.
Yeah. The next thing to remember with this 3-line energy is that if you have a 3 prominent in your chart, you are not here to take things at face value. You're here to go deeper and to explore what's real and true for you. So if you love someone in your life that has a strong 3-line energy in their chart, they can't just take your word for it. They have to try it themselves and discover themselves. And every person on planet Earth knowing that would create a lot more peace, because I have 3 lines people in my life. My husband is a 6-3. So before he was 30, he was like a double 3. And now that he's over 30, he's a 6 and still the 3. One of our very best friends is a 3-5. I have a few best friends that are 3-5s. It's a more common profile. So I have all these people in my life that I have to remember. I can't tell them what's true or what I think or what they should do. They have to try things out for themselves. That is how they operate in the world. So me giving them the space to just let them do their thing and discover on their own and wait to hear back their discoveries from that is going to create so much more peace in my life, like helping me let go of trying to control their outcome. But it's also going to help them thrive and discover the things they're meant to discover and report those findings back. So big permission slip here. If you have a person in your life that's 3-line, let them do their thing. Even if you tell them something, it might go in one ear and out the other. And that's because they're here to explore and try things on for themselves. And if you are a strong 3-line energy yourself in your chart, claim that. You're not here to take things for face value. You are here to explore, to try it on for size, and to discover what is true and real for you based on your life experience.
Yes. And then the next thing to remember for 3 lines is that you are here to discover what doesn't work in relationships as well. So if you have a unhealthy relationship, you're here to break that bond and go explore other relationships that feel healthy, or just explore other relationships and see what feels healthy. And that might give you a lot of clarity to then come back and have an even stronger bond with that person in a healthier way, or for it to fizzle away. So setting boundaries by just having the intention of, oh, this is feeling unhealthy now. Let me just direct my attention or my energy onto different relationships. And you're going to learn a lot about what is needed within the relationship dynamics around you. You're also here to break away from healthy relationships as well when you need to. So we like to say that 3 lines are here to have their bond and break it too. So that looks like having space to go explore the world and having many different types of friends and many different types of experiences, being open to know that you're not meant to just be alongside one person all the time. You're going to feel stuck. You're going to feel like there's nothing new to discover. So being able to break away and go focus your energy on something else or other relationships in your life, you can then come back to that super solid relationship in your life, but feel even stronger, feel even closer, and bring those discoveries, whether you realize that they are or not, back into your relationship. And it brings new life into that connection. So have your bond and break it too. And if it is an unhealthy relationship, just redirect your focus onto the relationships that feel good. And you're going to feel that unhealthy relationship either get stronger or fizzle away too.
Yeah. And I also wanted to say, in the same vein, if you are not a 3-line, but you love a 3-line, like me with my husband being a 3-line, let that person take a break from your relationship when they want to or when they need to. And that has been a huge life lesson for me, because there's definitely been times where I felt like, my husband's a rock climbing guide and an alpinist, and he's always going on trips and traveling the world. And I love that about him. It's my favorite thing about who he is this passion that he has to go on these trips and to explore the world without me. And sometimes there's been parts of my life where I had resistance to that, because it felt like, no, don't leave me. I want to be close. And I'm a 4-line, which is very different than 3. The 4-line wants to be close and cozy and connected and like in there snuggling, sharing our darkest secrets with one another. And the 3-line needs to like peace out and go break away and explore an adventure. So me embracing that and realizing that it's not a reflection of me, it's just that the 3-line that I love in my life needs to be set free. And when I let that happen, it seriously changed my life forever. It changed my marriage, because now I know how to love my husband in a way where he's free to break away with this 3-line that he has in his profile. And it makes our relationship so much stronger when we embrace this need for him to break away. And then he's like missing me and texting me every second that he gets. And even when he's like, on the top of a mountain with no phone service, he texts me on his satellite thing, like, I love you, babe. And I miss you. And I can't wait to be home. And when I wasn't allowing him to break away, there was a lot of like tension and friction and resentment for that. So like, this is another thing that I'm like, if everyone who is a marriage counselor knew who has a 3-line in their chart, even if you don't have a 3 in your profile, but you have a bunch of gates, like maybe your Venus gates or anything like that, that are expressed through the 3rd line, this is like game changer information.
Yes, I love that. And it's like so simple, right? It's not like you need to go take a course or go invest in something. It's like literally awareness alone. And then you start practicing using your awareness. That's it. Like, it's so crazy. It's crazy how most of the answers to the problem in our life is just having awareness of the way that you can nurture it. And that is the solution. Awareness.
Yes. Transmutes everything. It's amazing.
Yes. So then the next thing to remember is to see your resilience as a strength. You have a built-in tenacity and resilience that can sustain you with this 3-line energy. So prioritizing your adaptability as your gift and having that mantra, I am resilient and I am adaptable. And even if you don't have that, 3 in your profile, on the 3-line days, reframing like, okay, resiliency and adaptability is the name of the game. I'm here for it. I'm showing up for it. And I'm showing up with it if that 3-line energy is prominent in your chart, because you are here to ride that wave, if you will, with tenacity and with adventure. And so seeing it as a gift versus a hardship or something that's held you back in your life, that reframe is huge.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say that adaptability is a really powerful frequency that I think all of us can really benefit from. And of course, it's the 3 lines that are the way showers of that adaptability. But I think adaptability is really important for everyone. For me as a 2-4 and for Shayna as a 2-4, we have this 2-line, which the 2 is a lot more like cautious and like, I already know that this is going to work because I have this like natural flow there. And that's our genius in our wisdom that we share with other people. It's like this effortless, natural, like we just don't even try and we already can do it. But there's another side, like a shadow side, if you will, of that 2 line that can keep you stuck and like inflexible, unadaptable because you're just trying to do only the easiest thing or what works. And sometimes that medicine of embracing that resiliency and trying something new and adapting is the thing that gets us unstuck, that helps us change and grow. And so, in general, I feel like adaptability is one of the greatest creative strengths that humans can have. And so, for everyone embracing that and allowing yourself to kind of like let go of what you thought was going to work or what your mind is trying to contrive, adaptability is a huge medicine for that. And it's funny because when we let go of something, a lot of us feel like that's weak to let go, to let go of our grip. But actually, that letting go and that surrender and then adapting to what is, accepting what is and being like, okay, this is not what I planned, but I'm going to flow with it. I'm going to go with it. That adaptability is strength, incredible strength that carries us through to transform and to grow. And I can't tell you how many times in our lives, with DayLuna and things that we've created and on our workshops and things like that, where it's like, okay, well, that didn't go as planned, this one aspect. And it feels like you can just let that one thing like make you have a meltdown. But instead, if you can adapt, you can just let it be there and you can say, okay, let me pivot. That resilience, you get through and you have this breakthrough and transformation. So it's really important for all of us to embrace that on any 3-line day, harnessing that adaptability, seeing it as our greatest strength. But of course, if you carry this 3-line energy really prominent in your chart, really seeing how you are a guiding light to other people when you do that, and that your strength in that adaptability and your ability to surrender and to pivot and to grow and to change is such powerful medicine for the world. It truly, truly is such a gift when you allow yourself to show up as a leader in that space.
Yes, I love that. And 3 lines, you can get blamed for breaking things. This is the other thing to remember, is that you're actually just the first to discover that something was already going to break or that it doesn't work. So knowing that there's no such thing as a mistake, but really, like, if you are getting blamed in your life, just kind of holding the fact that you're here to be that person that breaks the mold, that has the bump in the road, but then learns from it and also can call it out and present it to other people like, this shit isn't working. Reframing blame as, this person just doesn't understand me or see me. Let me focus on the people that do. That sort of energy can be really powerful. But when you're reflecting on your childhood as a 3-line, you might have a lot of wounds around getting blamed and being misunderstood, of being labeled as difficult or the hard kid, or you're always messing up, you're always doing something wrong. And if you can really nurture that inner child and like go back and connect with and hold your inner child and tell them that it's not that you are here to be blamed or that you're a fuck up or that you have that you're always going to be making mistakes, is that you are the one that is breaking the mold and you are the one that is stretching us. And being stretched for a lot of people who have no awareness is uncomfortable and it's scary, and they don't want change and they don't want to have to learn a new way or have to buy a new cup or whatever the fuck thing happened. But really that thing happened for a reason. So that way that person could go to the store and buy a new cup and then maybe see something that they perfectly needed in their home, or run into somebody that they actually needed to have a conversation with, or whatever, right? It's not your job to know how your, thing is going to affect other people, but it's just knowing that your energy is here to be felt. It's here to be affecting people. So if you are getting blamed, it's knowing your energy is affecting people, but they are clinging on to some story because they're uncomfortable and they don't have awareness. And so you holding the awareness of, okay, I'm here to stretch people. I'm here to stretch things. I'm here to be resilient and adaptive. And I'm here to make those discoveries. And my energy is meant to be felt. I don't need to protect people or myself from my energy. You really don't. You're going to miss out on so much magic if you try to contain yourself into this tiny little bottle that's perfect and never makes any mistakes. You're literally missing out on your life's purpose when you do that. So it's time to be like, blame. I'll take all the blame, bitches. I'm here. I'm loud and proud, ready to discover. and reframing blame as just something that's not even like it's a frequency that doesn't even match you anymore, because you are just here to be expansive and to stretch and to leave a wake behind you of adventure and resiliency and discoveries and magic and exploration versus one track, one note, putting your head down, trying to be perfect.
Yeah. And I wanted to say that if you love a person in your life that has strong 3-line energy, maybe you're a parent who has a 3-5 child or a 3-6 child, um, being really aware of this blame thing is so important. And knowing that that 3-line is not always necessarily breaking something. They're discovering that thing that was gonna break that you've been tiptoeing around for months and months and months. And when they do discover that, thanking them and seeing where do you have resistance against, seeing what's actually right there beneath the surface and asking yourself that. But also for educators that are working with 3-line children, let these kids break some shit. My husband learns everything through taking things apart. So he literally learned how to work on cars through opening up the hood, taking an engine apart, putting it back together. And he's so deeply curious about learning in that way. He wants to deconstruct things to see what it's made of. He wants to literally break it so that he can discover and put things back together. And that's an amazing way that a lot of people learn. Anyone with a 3 in their profile is a very kinetic learner. They're very hands-on. And where along the line have we programmed ourselves away from learning in that way and felt like that wasn't valuable? You know, I just wanted to say that if you have a kid in your life or anyone that you love in your life, seeing that that's a totally valid and normal way that we're living, and even seeing how that can be a really fun way to bond with your kids or connect with your kids, is allowing them to take things apart, to break that, to make that discovery, and then thanking them for being the one that brings you that. And, you know, that's really the ending note that we want to end this conversation on, is we need to grow and explore and expand. Is literally why we are here. Like, you know, the whole point of humanity being here is to evolve, to grow, to make new discoveries, and to embrace change. And so many of us have so much resistance around that. We want to fit ourselves into a box. We want to be perfect all the time. We don't want to ruffle any feathers. We don't want to hit any bumps in the road. Well, guess what? You don't grow when you don't bump into things, because you don't make new discoveries, right? You don't grow when you try to be perfect all the time and you're not open to exploring something that is unknown or uncertain. So there's a lot of fun to be had if we can open this up, become more brave, let go of perfectionism, and embrace trial and error, and embrace growth and mutation. Embrace adaptability. And these are massively powerful themes at the core of humanity that 3-lines carry in their chart. They learn those lessons experience by experience. Anytime you have those 3s in your chart, you are learning how to use that quality in the world through this trial and error process, through trying things and bumping into things and making discoveries and breaking shit and making mutations for the world. I feel like if you look back at history and you look at some of the people that were the most daring and that made the most change and advocated for things to change in a time where people were quieting their voice and accepting things that were unjust, a lot of those historical figures will have 3s in their profile. I think it all the time. Like when I'm watching movies and there's this person who's just like, I won't stand for that. And this is a better way to do it. And we're going to try, even though we don't know how to do that. Like that's such an important theme. So we are really grateful for you tuning into this today, whether you have a 3 in your profile or whether you love someone or whether you just want to learn how to embrace this energy, because it's at the core of the most important themes of humanity, which is evolution, mutating, and trying new things so that we can create that change that we wish to see in the world.
Yes. So we are sending you so much 3-line magical, expansive dust today to sprinkle throughout your week, and to just plant this awareness that genuinely just hearing this, now your awareness has been expanded and you're going to be embracing this 3-line energy more in your day-to-day life and holding space for people who have it really prominently in their charts. So we're just excited that you get to move forward with this understanding and loving up your energy, because you are meant to be loved by yourself the most. And we love you too. So you want to connect with us, you can find us on our Instagram at DayLuna, our website, daylunalife.com. And that's where you can find all of our offerings. You can find our book, Your Human Design, Your Human Design Besties, our membership, all the things. So we're sending you so much love, and we hope you have an amazing rest of your week. Thank you for tuning in with us today. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe to follow along and learn more about human design.